welcome to episode 184 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Holland.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
Jeff, how's this fine Monday evening treating you?
Pretty good, Darby. How about you?
I'm doing good. Excited to watch some more anime. Where can people find anime, Jeff?
On twitch.tv/Nerds at Large Gaming to watch the live stream of our Anime Gauntlet Spring 2021 show, or on Nerds at Large on YouTube to watch the VOD.
Yes, Jeff. What is one anime, if no one's watching our Anime Gauntlet, what's one anime they should go watch right now?
Odd Taxi.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yes.
It's pretty fantastic.
It is.
It's basically it's anime BoJack Horseman,
Yep.
but with a lot of other twists in it too. It's quite good.
Yes.
It's quite good. Yes, but we're here to talk about video games, Jeff.
We are.
I just really want people to go watch it.
And before that, in the announcement things, this can technically be a news item, but I'm going to do it at the top.
Oh.
Psychonauts has been added to Game Pass. Finally.
It wasn't already.
For some reason, no. I imagine there was some rights thing.
Wait, it's an Xbox game, isn't it?
Yes, I don't know. It was just finally added. They did a cool, fun-looking trailer for it to be on Game Pass. Woo. And the end it says Psychonauts 2 coming later this year. Yay, that's hype.
Yay.
Go play Psychonauts.
Yeah, so we still don't have a... Uh-oh. We might not be live. But we're recording anyway. Who cares? We still don't have a hard date on that one.
No, I imagine they just keep on reaffirming this year. They're saying it enough in any little thing that I believe it.
Yeah.
I imagine I think it's safe to say, especially at this point, we're just getting that date next month at whatever Microsoft E3 showcase.
Dope.
If not, I will cry. I will cry.
I understand. We will understand those.
I think that's the fair expectation going into the E3 next month.
That's a fair cry. That's a fair cry.
People have all these great expectations of Elden Ring actually coming out.
Well, you know what, pipe dream we don't have to worry about anymore because it's here. I noticed that it's not the order you had there, but fuck your order. New Pokemon Snap, it's here. People wanted it for years and years and years, and it actually happened.
Yep.
Because like any dream that any random person on Twitter has, it's going to become a reality at some point.
Yep. Sorry.
You just have to wait long enough.
Indeed. Keep on messing up. But yeah, new Pokemon Snap's out. I have played a couple hours of it. I have unfortunately been pretty busy with other stuff, so I haven't been able to play as much stuff, which made me sad. But I have put a couple hours into new Pokemon Snap. I have unlocked technically 4 different areas out of, I don't know how many there are in this game. I think I've been seeing 10 go around.
70.
Yes. But yeah, a big question of this game is, going into this game, how long is this? It's going to be packed with content in comparison to the original Pokemon Snap, which is not a very long game and pretty simple. The answer, from what I can tell, is yes.
Good.
Based on reviews when people said like how long it is and everything, and just even from what I can tell of playing it. Because in the original Pokemon Snap, there were, I'll say like 7 or 8 areas. I can't remember off the top of my head actually exactly. But, and you can influence it somewhat, but it was the exact same thing every time you went through.
By 7 areas, do you mean like there are different paths within the area, or there was literally only like 7 paths?
There are literally 7 locations in that game, and there was very little variation in them. I mean, the crazy stuff you can do with it that you have to play repeatedly usually to get it. But it was
Still sounds very bare bones.
Yes, I mean it's a game from 1999 or whatever.
Yeah.
So at the time it was crazy, and especially with the graphics and everything.
Fair.
It was pretty crazy.
Yes.
But with this one, it probably doesn't have too many more areas, I'm gonna guess, than the original. But within these areas, there's a lot more variation with everything, because there are I can't remember the exact word they used. It's like I would say like exploration level or something like that, where you can go up, I think, to level 4. I think I saw to it for each area, and each time you go up a level, the level changes as far as what Pokemon are available to you or what action they're taking. Like, for example, when I went into when I start one level, the park area, the first time I did it, I don't think there was a Dodrio in there, but when I went into the second time, a Dodrio was just walking by the first time. And so and another thing, there are little Baidus, which are little beaver Pokemon. You can see the first time they're kind of picking up sticks a little bit. And as you do the levels, and then they're building a dam. As you go through the levels, the dam is being built, which unlocked another path.
Okay, so these levels just like every time you do it, you gain a level, or like you get.
Not every single time. You get experience points for those, for every level.
Okay.
And as far as how much experience you get, it depends how many new Pokemon you may take a picture of, and for each Pokemon, there are four stars potentially you can get. So there might be like a 1-star picture for a Pichu, or a 2-star or 3 stars, and it just depends how crazy the pictures or the action going on or what they're doing.
Gotcha.
And usually, if you just take like a normal ass picture, they're just standing there, boom, 1 star. If they're surfing on another Pokemon, that is a 4-star. If you get them to do that.
Okay. Is there I have heard some people say, is there a discrepancy in what is a cool picture versus what Pokemon Snap AI decides is a cool picture?
As far as like the star things, there are ones where I'm like, between the Pokemon, a 4 or 3 or 4 star for one Pokemon might be just a lot cooler than another one.
Yeah.
But as far, I think what you're talking about, you get graded based on points, and that I have no idea what the fuck they're grading on. There's sometimes where it's like, obviously this one's better, once I get a new one, because it judges the last or the main one you kept for whatever that star is, and compares it to your newest one. There've been a couple times up to this point where I'm like, oh, my new one's definitely better. It makes less points. I'm like, I'm keeping this one. This one's cooler.
Yeah, that's what.
Screw your points.
You gotta not make that super important, because if you start just metagaming the pictures, and it's what's the point? It's
I don't
just
think people really
cool
care.
pictures.
I feel like the points thing, I mean, it's fine, whatever. I don't know what the actual purpose is besides getting some of the achievements of it. I think it's just a carryover from the original game as far as how exactly the points thing is.
Right.
I doubt too many people are actually caring about that.
People
will probably care more about filling up the photo decks.
The real points are how many likes you get on Twitter when you post
This is
them.
true.
That's the actual points.
Yes. But yeah, you fill up a photo decks based on get all the Pokemon and getting each of the 1, 2, 3, and 4 stars pictures.
Yeah. Cool.
And you definitely got to go back and replay levels, because sometimes how to get those is not available. Also, as far as the variation in levels, at least the ones I have so far, there are the star ones, the levels of them, and also day and night.
Okay.
There's a night version of them, and you go in there and different Pokemon are out, and you see Pokemon sleeping and all that. So like one cool time when I was going through the first park area, I think it was on level 2 or something, I turned around at some point after doing it a couple times, and that level, I turned around one time randomly and I saw Grookey sleeping with a Sylveon. Nice. So it just look all cute and stuff. It's like, oh, because I hadn't seen a Sylveon at that point in the game. It was like, I have no idea that's here, but that's awesome, and took a picture of it.
Nice.
Kind of messed with it.
Nice. So these environments are decently dense.
There's a lot going on, and then the environments themselves aren't amazing. They're very low poly compared. The Pokemon models are a lot better than the backgrounds.
Gotcha.
In comparison, which if they got to pick one, I'll take the Pokemon.
Gotcha,
I need these are the best. Low bar, I know. Best the Pokemon models have looked in an official game, and just the way they move and all that kind of stuff. Even if it is if you're going through a certain level or area more enough, they're kind of doing the same things with some little variations. But especially that first time, it's very exciting to see okay, what Pokemon is going to be here? What are they going to be doing? And once I since it's an on-rails thing, there will be times where I've gone past, I'm like, oh, I should have done this. And then you go back and, when I go back through, it's okay, I'm going to make sure I do this.
Cool. That's cool. I feel well, this would be too good of a segue, but whatever. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna ruin your future segue. I feel like this game should be a VR game. I feel like that would make this game like you just talk about you're slowly going on this like Pokemon tour of like these environments and you look up, oh, these are good. Like yeah, imagine if that was like a VR thing. You're like, oh shit,
I would
Pokemon. Like, oh,
I mean,
really cool.
I legitimately wouldn't be surprised at some point if they decided to do it, like make it Labo VR compatible. I know that's not. I know we all would want it to be on higher end VR.
Yeah,
but
it's not gonna happen.
yeah.
Also, there's really no way it would happen. It just feels like it would be a game that would be like. That would just make it so much more interesting. I feel like that would just seems like it would be like really good for it. You talking about like, yeah, look behind me. Oh yeah, imagine if you were really on this safari journey. With,
yeah,
like, yeah, it'd be cool.
That'd be dope.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, it's a very joyful time, and
yeah, how jolly are the vibes?
Very jolly vibes. I think this is in some ways like I don't think it's gonna be as big or anything, but it's kind of like the Animal Crossing of this year. Where it's just the Nintendo game, which is pure vibes, pure good vibes.
Yes, yeah,
totally in a different way,
totally
and not going to sell nearly as well, but good vibes all around.
Yeah, but still, yeah, I bet it will sell surprisingly good.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see sales on this because I think there was something about in the UK it sold like 4 times as much as the original Pokemon Snap first week. I'm like, that's just one area, it's the UK. I think they gave from 20 years ago.
I have a feeling it's gonna at least sell. Multiple million, I think.
Oh yeah,
at the very least.
It's a heavily marketed Pokemon spinoff. So yeah, that's
heavily marketed in Pokemon. That's so you just stop there. It's like yeah,
and it's also going to be very curious, like a very interesting thing when we see sales. It's like, okay, so how much of this game was just a vocal minority as far as wanting it as well? Like if it doesn't sell particularly well. I think
it could be a vocal minority who were actually asking for it, but not a vocal minority who ends up buying it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's actually about to say, like, yeah, even if it was a vocal minority that was saying it, this isn't, I mean, even if it's not like, they're not going to be people like you and people who got into Animal Crossing per se that are gamers getting into this jolly thing. There's going to be a certain amount kind of person getting this, and that's fine. But this is definitely something that could appeal to kids that are kids now.
Kids. Yeah.
Like sure. It did for us 20 years ago.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think there'll probably be a fair number of people who never even knew about Pokemon Snap or just never played it, or did play it and just have not thought about Pokemon Snap in years and years and years and years. Now they're like, oh, okay, sure. That's like, or like, yeah. Mostly, I think most of the sales will ultimately come from kids. I mean, I think that will be the majority. Like, Twitter will seem like it's 20-something and 30-something-year-old. That will be a portion, but I would guess that what's gonna make this get to like 10 million sold is gonna be kids.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely been one of those games. I mean, you said it about a lot of Nintendo games I know where a parent who played it when they were kids then will get it for the kids, like, but I want it as well.
Yeah.
For both of us.
Oh yeah, it's for the kids. Yeah, definitely for the kids. You know, oh, the kids left an hour ago. Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah. Oh shit, a Gligar.
Yeah, it makes me think like I wish that if my sister's twins were like a little bit older, this would be like it would probably be just enough because like they're too young to play like really any video game right now. But like this might be enough to be like, just look at the cool and cute little animals and be like, it's probably like this could be someone's very first video game probably.
Yeah, and something I want to bring up that I am again pretty early on very impressed with is the variety of Pokemon. Like it doesn't seem to really particularly focus on a certain generation. Like,
good, nice.
Like I kind of worried like, okay, how focused on Gen 1 is it going to be? How focused on the newest gen it's going to be? It's like it feels pretty even, and
nice.
The Pokemon I've seen, like I did not expect this Pokemon.
Good, nice.
So, again, I is at the point now where I expect I can like any Pokemon. I don't feel like it's off limits except for Jinx. As it should.
Just
but who knows? If I find Jinx in here, I will bring it up on the podcast.
Guaranteed.
Yep.
Okay, before we leave, what is your estimated ranking for this year's Pokemon games between this game, Pokemon Unite, and Pokemon whatever the hell brilliant shit?
By what metric? What will be on my
Your personal Jeff listing.
I
I just want to compare that to what it ends up being because it could be a wild card. I feel like.
It's hard.
It is hard one. It's a hard one.
I feel like the chance that Pokemon Snap is number one, just partly because it's something I've been wanting and I've been very pleased with it. Where compared to the remakes, where they're pretty basic remakes, you know, from what it looks like, so it might be kind of been there, done that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But depending on how far we get in the Nuzlocke, that will definitely influence it. And Unite's is really a wild card where I'm not, I'm excited to play with you guys, but I technically don't know where I'm going to fall on it.
And but the power of friendship.
This is true. The power of friendship.
The power of friendship is very strong.
Yeah, and none of my friends want to play Pokemon Snap.
So where did you land on that? I'm sorry. You have to say something before we move on.
Oh yeah. Snap 1.
Cold shot.
I'll say Unite 2.
There we go. There it is. We got him. We're one step closer. Yeah, I just thought that was. I was thinking as you were saying that, I was like, oh, hey, we're actually getting like 3 different Pokemon games this year. I mean, that's probably not a surprising thing. Probably every year has like at least 2 Pokemon releases, and I just
Yeah.
You know.
So something I'm thinking I might have to do is try to block Pokemon Snap on Twitter. Because I'm seeing pictures, I'm like, I don't want to know these Pokemon are there. I want to find them on my own.
This is gonna be, and I would not blame anyone. Like I honestly think that I get that you don't want to see that, whatever. But I kind of feel like it's on you to avoid that because part of the enjoyment of this game is gonna be sharing your pictures.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not gonna if you want to share your picture,
no.
I know you're not saying that. I know you're not saying that at all. I'm just saying but this is definitely going to be a big danger zone of if you don't want to see things, then this is going to be the wrong game. It's like because people are going to be sharing stuff left and right all over the place.
I absolutely don't blame them, but yeah.
I
agree with you.
Yes. Yeah, start posting those pictures and there's a large Twitter account.
Okay.
We need the content.
All right. See how confident I feel in my picture taking abilities.
They're a cute Pokemon. There's no way it can be bad.
You're right. Alrighty. Well, Darby, time to talk about something. Well, you hinted at and maybe gave it away earlier.
Curveball, though.
Yep, curveball. I got an Oculus Quest 2.
What?
It surprised Darby when I brought it home last week.
I was not.
He thought it was food.
Yeah, I thought you just had food in your hand. I didn't even look twice at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very unexpected purchase there from Jeff.
Yep, I was kind of like, okay, I'm getting a little extra money from various things. I know I'm getting to some point. I got hyped from the Resident Evil 4 announcement, and just their showcase looked really cool. What they showed last week, I'm like, fuck it, it's time. Let's do it.
You were definitely the most into VR of any person I know. Obviously,
yeah.
It's like I like VR, but not enough to really go buy a headset for myself. At least not right now. But so it makes
and now you don't have to anytime.
And now I don't have to anytime soon. You know, as long as we're friends, I think that we're good.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
That is crazy. I did my research to make sure. Okay, make sure the games are there. Make sure I can run it on my PC and that kind of stuff. And okay, we good, baby.
Yeah. So how's it been so far?
Been good. It's been a good bit of setup, just again partly because of the amount of time I had, and the first night with a lot of setting up, trying to get Beat Saber to work with the mods.
Yeah,
which apparently aren't working at the moment because of the program I'm using or something. That's taking longer than normal. So we don't have any impressions on Beat Saber mods right now.
Not able to do the Chica dance.
No, not yet.
Just depressing.
But me and you both played for 2 seconds in Beat Saber.
Yes.
At the very least. But we'll go into overall impressions of the headset itself, and I am very impressed with it as a whole. It's just crazy how, I can just turn it on, put it on my head, make a little tracking, little area, play area. But once you do that, it's done very well, at least for me so far. Awesome. I got it last Tuesday, so the day afterwards, my day off. I went in there after I got after I got up, I went into the D and moved the table, made a player real quick, and played Pistol Whip, which I'll talk about. And it was very quick. Just a whole new area, no setup, and
That's the future. I mean, like, compare that to the PSVR that we would just not play for months and months at a time because it's like no one felt like setting it up.
no, and legitimately, that's part of the reason I'm excited for this. Is I feel like I'll be in the mood to play more because I want to deal with the setup.
Strap it on there. Don't even need a headset because like I still don't exactly understand how it does what it does with the strap. Just goes around your head. It's not even going around your ears, but you can hear everything. It's like the sound is rattling through your brain. Something.
Yeah, I was curious. Like, it was interesting when you tried it on because, I was able to hear it. Like, it was very clear when you have it on.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like, how quiet is this to outside people depending on the volume? It's like, oh, no, other people can hear it.
Yeah, they definitely can.
Once you get it loud enough, which is fine.
Yeah. I would say it definitely doesn't sound like as good as having headphones on. It has like a somewhat of like an airy kind of like.
Yeah. It's a very, I think, very serviceable for.
But it's good enough. Yeah. I think I just noticed it more because the only thing I played was Beat Saber, where there's like heavy bass and everything, and like obviously that wasn't quite as heavy or whatever. But for the most part, for like most games, just slap it on. I'm sure it'd be fine. And I'm sure you can still wear headphones. Right?
Oh yeah, that's a headphone slot.
Yeah, right.
I made sure to check on that.
Yeah.
So all that kind of fun stuff.
And it can also double as just a normal Oculus to play games on Steam and on your PC.
Yes,
stuff,
there's a big thing I had
it
to check. Is
doesn't
like
have to-
make sure, okay, what do I need to get? And does my PC and I have enough power for all that kind of stuff and all that kind of stuff? Because looking at there were a lot of requirements, and I made the cut. Yay! I got an Oculus Link to plug in, which even the little bit I played with it, it's like, okay, this doesn't feel as annoying as the PlayStation VR cord, partly because it's so much longer and
Was it just one cord? To
you just plug it into the USB-C whatever slot on the side and you're good to go. It's a little confusing to me. I think I figured out how to do it, how to switch to the Oculus like Rift version pretty much of the headset, but I think I got it now.
Okay.
Got it figured out. Because I did play Half-Life Alyx for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
As well to make sure that worked. Luckily, I think my graphics card at the bare minimum for that game. So I'm able to play it. It's a little slightly choppy, it looked like.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's pretty good. It's a big jump up to me compared to the PlayStation VR.
Imagine. I really want to try that out. Yeah.
Yeah, to me, the most impressive game on PSVR as far as the scope and everything is Hitman 3, because it is a regular game just on there with the whole levels and everything, but it definitely does have that screen door effect like all PlayStation VR. It's a lot more clear. Like,
that's why I'm excited.
Like
too.
I might be like thinking it overselling it a little bit because I have limited experience so far, but it's at least not noticeable to me.
Yeah, I'm excited to do that because like I think I guess I'm even more picky, I guess, or something than other people. Because like when I played a little bit of Resident Evil 7 earlier that we did on stream. You can go watch that. I mean, I also just didn't really like the game, but like outside of that, I don't think I could have played that whole thing in PSVR. It was like it's not just the VR motion, which that does get to me, but just how fuzzy everything looked. Like that itself was making me kind of sick because just everything looked so grainy and the screen door type thing where I was like, it's just, it was just like looking at like that, like washed out textures for that long. And whenever you look at someone's face, it like reminded me like when I had my contacts out or something, because it was like, you can't really tell the features on everyone's face. You kind of can, but kind of can't. It's like, and like you're too close to them. You're like too in the shit for it to be that like fuzzy. So I'm like, I'm excited to see if Oculus really is that much better, because like I feel like that could make the experience like better as far as like if it looks better, you're happier or whatever. But like legitimately, it was too fuzzy. It was making me sick on PSVR. So I'm excited to see if it actually is that, like if that helps me.
Yeah.
You know, because I haven't tried too many super extensive things in VR, and I have gotten sick a few times. So like I don't know where my limit is exactly, but
yeah,
I'm excited with Alex. Yeah,
curious to see how good it runs and looks and everything on your PC.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I need to try. So I need to just go download and like figure that out. Cause it'll probably take a while to download Alex in general.
It's definitely the biggest VR game. It's like 50 to 60 gigs.
Yeah, I thought it would be even bigger than that, to be honest with you. but that is still pretty big.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Yeah, and again, just the little bit I was in Alex, just seeing again the way how detailed the background is in comparison to other VR games, and just kind of already the little interactivity. Like I mentioned to you, like a little not whiteboard, but just a little board thing you can draw wet markers on it and that kind of stuff. And
it actually felt like
yeah,
you could pick this thing up and do something with it.
Like actually do drawings. Like, oh, this is actually what IV draws.
That's the biggest thing. Just hearing people talk about like how they use the environment, use items and stuff in the environment for combat in such a like in a way that you would never think to do. Like it would normally that would just be like set piece stuff in a video game, but you're just like, oh wait, I'm just gonna grab this and throw it at the thing and go.
Yeah, I was already in a little bit just kind of messing with stuff. Like, yep, this is all seems to be interactive.
Yeah, I might go download it tonight and see about that. I'll have to figure out how exactly it'll work, like switching between ours, but I'm sure we can figure it out.
So I guess before we move on, I can talk about the one game I actually put a decent amount of time to, Pistol Whip, which the best way to sell this game is to say it is Beat Saber meet super hot. That is what pretty much this game is. You may not know exactly what that means, but if you see it / play it, you instantly will be like, oh yeah.
Okay.
So it is kind of like Beat Saber where you're going through a level in the song it is playing, but instead of the stuff coming to you, you're going down a path. You're going down a straight path. You have a gun in your hand, or you can dual wield, which is an optional thing. And why the fuck would I not dual wield?
Why not, baby?
I have two hands.
God gave me two hands for a reason.
Yes. So doing all that, and you're going down a path and shooting people and whipping them in the head with guns.
Nice, as you do.
Yes, and you're going to the beat of the song. Like you get bonus points to if you shoot them to the beat.
Nice.
And yeah, you're going through that, and you get into a little rhythm, or you can kind of tell like where people will come. You can kind of like boom, boom, boom.
That's cool.
And all that. Yeah, I think it's a game you'll really get into, especially again.
It does sound like my jam.
Songs so far are really cool. There's a good bit of stuff, and they added at some point a single player campaign for it. I have not tried that at all, so I'm curious what that's about.
Wait, you're doing this multiplayer? Wait, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Normally it is Sorry.
Or so there's a story or something?
Yeah. I guess Mike should have just said campaign. It's like Beat Saber where you just pick a song and go.
Right.
But there's also a campaign with a story.
Okay. Gotcha.
And what's also cool, and I believe this is all free if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong, they announced during the Oculus Showcase last week or 2 weeks ago or whenever that there's going to be a Western one coming out this year for the game as well. There's a lot of content, and there's a decent amount of songs just in the game already.
What is the music like? Is it like dance, Beat Saber, dubstep?
It's very Beat Saber. It has a slightly different style. It doesn't like get so much into the techno dubstep stuff.
Yeah.
And it seems the way they kind of frame it is like movie titles and then like little posters for them. You kind of go into it. And there's definitely like different themes for them. I was curious, like, okay, this is the difficulty thing. It's like, okay, no, there's like a bottom one where it's kind of more popish, I guess I would say, with more vocals involved.
So it's kind of a variety.
And I imagine they'll be adding more stuff because I think this game seems to be doing pretty well and is pretty popular. I think Chad Michael Ennis and Respawn Aim Fire talked about it at some point because it is on PlayStation VR. Definitely
sounds like it would be his jam as well.
Oh yeah,
and he'd probably be way better than we'll ever be at it. So which KDA song is in this game?
No.
Shame, man. Get it out of here.
Yeah, get that shit out of here. So yeah, that again,
well,
pretty early on. I'll just talk more about Oculus Quest 2 stuff.
We have introduced another new console into the Nerds at Large family that you can get impressions from. Not one that I was expecting.
Nope.
I expected it at some point, but I didn't expect so soon. It's there.
Yeah. So I got a couple games I'm kind of looking at to potentially buy. kind of be on my short list. Lone Echo is one that I've been hearing a lot about. It's from the Ready at Dawn team who did The Order,
Right.
who is now owned by Facebook.
Right.
Lone Echo 2 is coming out this year, and I've heard from like Brandon Jones from Easy Allies, like, oh, this is the best VR game, because it seems to kind of be like Half-Life Alyx is, and like Walking Dead, Sentence Center, where like it's a full game, full cinematic story, whatever. Maybe not cinematic,
Made for VR.
Yep, and it's from what I can tell, like, oh yeah, this could be dope. And there's a sequel coming. I'm like, let's go.
Well, now you gotta completely lose all of your social life and go into that VR MMO. The MMOs are already addicting as hell, so now you have to be. Now you're gonna be in the MMO, so it'll become Sword Art Online.
Well, yeah, that one is kind of PlayStation VR, but it's more enticing on the Oculus.
Oh, there you go. That means we can play together.
As long as there's crossplay.
There you go.
I mean, I guess legitimately, if there's crossplay for this,
we actually can play some VR things together.
I didn't think about that. That'd be dope.
I don't know how common crossplay is with VR, but
I don't know either, but we'll figure that out. Also, another game I'm really looking at, there's this like sci-fi mega visual novel-esque thing that's apparently getting a really good score. I'm like, is this a Jeff game? This might shit.
VR visual novel, interesting.
Yeah.
Does it move? Does it move around?
I just heard it's really good, so I'm interested.
Cool. Well, you know what else is really good?
Nier?
I'll do it this time. Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139 ellipses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played more of this game. I am now roughly a little over 10 hours in now, compared to the 3 hours it was last week.
He's almost halfway there.
Maybe, I don't know. They added
almost a fourth of the way there.
They added another ending. I don't know what all that entails. That's all I know.
Almost an eighth of the way there.
Yeah, I finally got. I don't think this is a spoiler because it's in trailers and everything. They talk about there's a time skip. I am right past the time skip, and
you become Papa Nier.
Yes, but I am
not that much of a time skip.
it's a 5-year time skip. Now I'm adult Nier, but not Papa Nier.
Not Papa Nier. Maybe there'll be another 5-year time skip. And in
maybe.
anime years, you're like ancient.
This is true. This is true. Yeah. So I'm like right after that for people who know the story of Nier Replicant. But yeah, things are definitely starting to ramp up some. Getting the weirder things has changed kind of genre and perspective and stuff a little more now. One of the times when you were watching me, just talking to someone and a lot of more text started to go on, and then it literally just turned into a novel. Not a visual novel. Literally, it was just text on a screen like I was reading a book. Yeah. For a good couple minutes. I'm like, okay, let's give it to me.
Again, like I said then, I would love so much if they had the balls to make it that was the rest of the game. It's like, you've played all the game, now it's time to read this novel.
Yeah, because I'm happy I'm getting to this stuff finally, because it's one of those things to where I hate to be like this if someone to ask me about Replicant now. Yeah. Or as I recommend it's like, okay, it might be a little slow at the beginning and more normal, kind of generic as JRPG fantasy shit.
From what I've seen, I definitely that early parts. I mean, I knew that it probably got there.
Yeah.
But just judging off of that, I'll be honest, it didn't look that good to me. It looked very generic to me, like just from those early areas you were in.
Yeah, I guess to be fair, I mean the early stuff does have the kind of more Nier-esque stuff in it, but just. You have to. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything, but
I'm not trying to actually
Yeah,
I have no right to make a judgment, and I'm not trying to make a judgment because I saw very little of the game. But
no, it does start out slow, and as you get towards the end of the time skip is when things really start ramping up and getting weird. And based on what Freaking Gets Jacob Hamill said and other people have said, now at the point where shit just get crazy.
Nice.
Shit just be crazy.
Cool. Oh, yeah. Definitely sounds like the story is the thing that really carries this game through.
Yes. And the gameplay is solid. I like, again, I can't compare it to the original Nier, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that it's a big step up if, what I'm playing is
seems like it.
Yeah. And before we move on, I'll mention the protagonist. I can't exactly compare Bro Nier and Papa Nier because again, I haven't played the original.
No, you don't need to.
Yeah,
Just you.
No, I've been saying it. You know, when you were watching, part of the reason you were kind of like, okay, this generic is this guy's whiny, and
he just seemed like the most bland, whiny boy anime protagonist I've ever seen in my life. I mean, like that's just how he was presented. It seemed like. I mean, I believe y'all that he apparently gets more deep.
Now he's a fucking badass. he just like shows up at the middle of the time skip and like no look stabbing and killing these monsters.
So it's like the Pro ZD thing where he was like, "Oh, don't worry, he gets better." And he's like, I just peed my pants. I'm so scared. It's like, but he gets better. Trust me, he gets better.
Yeah, but I don't think he was that bad. Yeah, he was just he was okay. But now it's like, okay, yeah, as the story itself is ramping up and more stuff is happening, he's getting better as well. And developing as a character. And to be honest, as far as I'm thinking about how this would go with Papa Nier with the time skip, I like how it visually like, oh yeah, it's a time skip. I'm imagining this with an already old dude and like, how much can you do in 5 years to make it so like...
That's what it sounded like Jacob was saying. Yeah. It was less stark.
Like you immediately show like, okay, this guy's been through the shit. He's actually obviously grown physically and more, been in more battles. Yeah. Again, if it's Papa Nier, it's like, okay, maybe you give him an eye patch or some shit. I don't know if that's what they did. But...
It's punished, probably.
Yeah. But yeah, so.
Nice.
I am loving this game. And actually talk about more.
Can't wait to listen to you and Jacob's Spoilercast and spoil the entire game for me, which I already have. I already told Jacob to spoil the whole game for me. So
yeah. Yep, you can expect Spoilercast to come up for that probably, and probably whenever me and Jake get through Resident Evil 8 as well.
Yeah. Both of them.
Yep.
And Final Fantasy 7, boy.
That's coming out.
Boy.
Oh, that's next month.
Boy. Yeah, I'm not getting a PS5 by then, so I'm going to be playing yours.
Yep.
Hope that's K.
Yep, that and Ratchet.
Yep.
Speaking of Ratchet.
Same damn 2 days.
Yep. Speaking of Ratchet, you guys set me up.
Ratchet. I hit you with a ratchet. What am I doing?
New jingle. Jingle.
Jingle. Yep. Shit. Fuck. Sorry, dropped the ball on that one. I really didn't know what I was being set up for.
All right, Dur. Let's talk about that there state of play that was there last week that you didn't watch, as far as I know.
I don't need to see Ratchet, you know? Me and him were homies.
Your little homie?
Like, he's welcome in. Like, he's welcome in my house immediately. He doesn't need to prove himself to me.
Fair.
And we're getting dangerously close. I just don't want to see anymore.
I'm done at this point.
I don't want to see any more guns. I don't want to see any more locations. I don't want to know.
I'm done at this point, but I was like, yeah, I want to go off that Huber energy during the state of play. It's like, there's some times where I'm like, okay, I think I'm done seeing stuff. And then in the Easy Allies reaction, like with Resident Evil stuff, I'm like, I just want to see Huber happy.
Yeah,
and just them general vibe.
Very fair, very fair. But Ratchet, Jack, and Sly are too close to my heart. I just don't want to see anymore. I'm just so excited.
No, that's
this
fair.
Right now is like my most anticipated game of the year. I don't really count, like, you know, Final Fantasy 7 is like a DLC thing.
Yeah,
But full game, this is my most anticipated thing of the year.
Yeah. Well, actually, before we move on to Ratchet, Dari, I will say this. If it is at least a couple hours, if we're potentially counting Bowser's Fury as a new game for our game of the year, if you want to do episode,
I suppose, yeah. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I feel like there's always going to be something in our game of the year that kind of irritates me that we include, but that's just the way that video games work.
I partly do that on purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ratchet. It looked damn good. Them showing is. Definitely shows off more, like as far as seeing the area and in a city that they visit and stuff, and like seeing all the cars go by and all that stuff. Like, ow!
Oh boy!
Like, if we weren't so close to the game, I would worry about the game just pulling a Cyberpunk and just, you know, that kind of thing where it just looks worse.
It always looks too good. Yeah.
And the thing is, people did comparison shots to a trailer we got a little while back. It apparently has improved. Like, things actually look better.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I saw like Daniel mods like Ratchet and Clank looks like a PS6 game.
Yeah, like it. Apparently, Returnal looks really good and stuff it's doing is crazy, but Ratchet seems to be beyond that. Like again, this truly seems to be the next gen.
The first time we're really seeing like a PS5 PS5 game, and it's exciting because like the PS4 from day one was underpowered compared to PCs and stuff. Like there was never a time it was on par with it. Like from day one, it was already behind, like probably like 2 or 3 years behind. Mm-hmm. PS5 is actually on par with modern PCs. Obviously, it's going to be eclipsed as years go on, but right now, it's kind of exciting to see Sony is actually at parity. Like Sony is actually pushing the most power, and Xbox is too. But both of the consoles are actually
next gen in general,
pushing what technology can do right now. Mm-hmm. So like I feel like this is one of the first times you're actually going to see some of these games. They're going to be like, damn, this actually is the best looking shit around.
Yeah, and what they say was impressive. We kind of knew this was the case, but it just you kind of feel more impressed when you're actually hearing it straight out. At one point, Ratchet goes through one of the portals and teleports to a new world. And they're like, no, this isn't just a little area. You literally transport to a whole new world that, like all the other games that you travel to, like within 2 seconds.
I'm wondering how many different hub worlds are going to be in this, because like, they've already shown quite a few. I mean, like, it's one of those, even if there's only like 5, they're probably going to be like so fucking detailed.
Yeah, and they're detailed and they seem to be pretty big based on what we've seen compared to other ones.
Yeah.
It's insane. And we see a little more Rivet in her gameplay and stuff. It seems like, I'm curious if, I kind of hope they don't do this. They do some stuff where you make use of her metal arm. Like that seems to do some stuff. I'm hoping they don't like give Ratchet like a gauntlet or something so that he can do the exact same things.
I feel like if you're gonna do the split, like playing both of them, there's gonna be a reason as far as like she can do things that he can't. There's gonna be, like,
I hope
either that or like their differences are slightly more subtle and you can like switch between them at will or whatever. But I'm guessing it's gonna be like story reasons, like you're flipping back and forth.
The only reason I mentioned that in the fear because I don't know if they might have confirmed or deconfirmed that in the state of play, and I just missed it because I watched the reaction to it. As it's you miss a couple of things, but I did see some photos someone posted of Ratchet with like a metal gauntlet thing on.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this might be.
Yeah.
They just might be pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah. But I mean, either way, it's cool. Story wise to have the two characters, but you do kind of hope that they have.
Yeah, I guess there will be little differences at least for a while because you do not have Clank on Ratchet, but Rivet will have Clank, and you'll probably do the normal helicopter little things, and all that kind of stuff. And also there is like super dash type things to dodge and all that kind of stuff that has a very cool effect. And you have wall running. Nice. It's something that they showed off in there. So there's gonna be all that added platforming stuff.
Nice.
And this game just looks so good.
It looks great.
It's gonna be crazy.
The other day I re-downloaded 2016 Ratchet and Clank because I was just like, I might just want to like pop around for a second before I
feel free if you want to just for the fun of it, put it on my PS5 and see how.
Yeah. I think they did say there was like a update, right? Like
yes, I believe that was something recent.
Yeah.
When they released it for free.
Didn't think about that. Yeah. I know. I don't think I want to like play through the whole thing. That would be too much Ratchet.
If you want to dip your toe into it, might as well make it look good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Might as well.
Yep.
Might as well be fancy.
Yep. Other thing during the state of play, we talked about the announcement last week on the podcast. They said there were going to be 2 indie games, which is. It's funny to see it every single time with these state of plays or directs when the like Sony or Nintendo are like, this is what's here.
Yeah.
And then what is shown is Ratchet and Clank and 2 updates to indie titles. We're like, it was literally only Ratchet. What was Sony thinking? It's like, that's literally what they said. They did exactly what they said. But the 2 indie games that were...
I will apologize. I said to lock it in that it was Hades. And I told you to lock it in wrong. I led you.
So yeah, well, it's not an apology thing, but I do want to say something about this game. Subnautica Below Zero was shown up there. It's fine. Subnautica's a big thing. It's an update. I think it's finally coming out.
Is this an update or a sequel? I've never been clear.
I think it's a sequel.
Yeah, I think it's a sequel.
That's cool. But the other one was Among Us coming to PlayStation with Ratchet skin and a Clank pet thing, which cool. I saw that announcement. I'm like, I mentioned Hades would be kind of lame. Among Us is even lamer. Like, I love Among Us.
We got lamer.
But when I hear indie title, like, Among Us is the biggest shit to, like, yes, it's indie, but
it is technically indie.
Yep. And it's just like, oh, it's already on everything else, or at this point, or announced for everything else.
I'm more just like, it wasn't on PlayStation. Like
that was a couple, and I was like, yeah, surprise. I think that's literally the only thing it wasn't on or announced for it.
Yeah, that was the bigger surprise to me. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, duh, you know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be on anything it can possibly be on at this point, because it's a very low, like, doesn't take much to run it, and it's incredibly popular. So it's like, put it on everything. Yeah.
Yep.
But cool.
Yep. So Ratchet hype. Let's go.
I just want it.
Yeah. Oh man, Derek. You know the thing that sucks though? It comes out right before the day before E3 starts. We're gonna be busy that weekend.
7 Ratchet and E3.
So I'm already on the mindset. I'm sure you agree. I will try to get through 7.
Yeah.
Because that's short enough to where I think I can before we really get into the E3 stuff. But Ratchet's probably gonna be on hold for at least a couple of days. I'll try to fit in there when we can. Especially since we'll be sharing a console.
That's just depressing. These are literally like the 2 things I care about this year. Why do they have to come out a day apart? I don't play games anymore.
And Loki comes out that day.
And Loki. Yeah, Loki really is probably going to be on the back burner for at least it'll probably be a full week later before we get around to it.
Yep.
Sucks.
Okay. Darren, we're going to talk about a rumor now.
Ooh, is it spicy, Jeff? What's the spice level on this?
Extra grande hot.
Oh shit.
Apparently Netherrealm is rumored, and this is coming from apparently a well-known, I guess, Marvel related rumor or fighting game. Oh, it was just Darby, obviously. Yeah. Is making a new Marvel fighting game. Or working on a fighting game with Marvel characters.
I guess if you can't make Marvel vs. Capcom, just try a new studio.
Yeah, well, So this is crazy for multiple reasons. One, it'd be NetherRealm working on a brand new giant property, and also the fact that NetherRealm is, besides Mortal Kombat, known for making a DC fighting game and is owned by the company that owns DC.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much making a game for direct competition. And it wasn't for the DC thing, I'd be like, okay, whatever. But the fact, again,
it does make it very interesting, for sure. But we are in a point in video games where, and a point in comics too, where it seems like those barriers are coming down more and more. And Marvel games in general seems to be taking a very they're open to just any talented studio can make our Marvel games.
I'm not surprised from the Marvel side for sure.
Yeah.
I'm kind of more surprised from the WB side allowing it. NetherRealm, I'm not surprised at all being let's go. It's why they have no reason to be aligned to DC.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm surprised that he was but our superheroes.
Yeah, and that's what it's weird because this rumor it seems like if this was true, the rumor probably would have said it. But it seems like it would be a perfect opportunity to do a crazy Marvel versus DC game. And can you imagine that at E3? Can you imagine how much people would be losing their fucking minds?
I feel like we're getting less and less of us getting crazy reactions to conferences. That's one thing that we would go off.
You would start off with one or the other, and it's wow, this looks crazy good. You might even be able to tell it's NetherRealm immediately. It's oh shit or whatever, and then Batman, Batarang hits. Oh shit.
But I think what would happen. I feel like this would be the perfect way to do it. Partly if it wasn't for this potential leak of it.
Yeah.
Is if it starts out like an Injustice trailer, and then fucking Spider-Man sweeps in and kicks Batman.
Yeah, if this does happen, then I'm upset. I'm upset that we know
Yeah.
that we got this rumor.
Yeah, and the reverse of this is I'd be happy for this either way. So I like NetherRealm's games and everything. I love Marvel. It's
Yeah.
Infinite was a disappointment. But I will be disappointed if this starts getting announced, at least in the moment, primarily. If we get through this announcement and there is no versus DC,
Yeah, it just seems
confirmation.
like you said, it would be kind of surprising for you to, because it kind of seems like you'd be making a Marvel game at the expense of a DC game, because if they stay on their normal formula, which there's nothing to say they would have to stay on that formula, but if they stay on a normal formula, the next game would be an Injustice game or whatever.
If they went by their normal thing, we'd be playing Injustice 3 this month. If they went their
Really, it was that soon? Close.
They've been on a 2-year cycle. Mortal Kombat came out 2 years ago.
Ugh, yikes.
And
2 years.
Their next game hasn't been announced. It makes sense that because game development's hard and things are taking longer, and COVID and stuff, that it would take longer.
Yeah, they did a bigger expansion to 11
That,
than they
that too.
previous
So
ones, but
it's we'll probably be getting the announcement of NetherRealm's next project maybe by the end of the year, unless it's taking a lot longer than normal.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times Mortal Kombat 11 was different when they announced it like 5-6 months in advance. They normally announced it for the past few games before that, announced at E3 next April ish. So they could start that again.
No. Yeah, I mean, like, the only reason, like, I usually am not as... I'm usually more reserved about the, like, taking the craziest, most hype version of a rumor and running with it, because, like, so often it's wrong, and it probably is wrong here, too. But it does kind of make sense, if it was Marvel versus DC.
That's a perfect opportunity.
There's logic to that.
That is the perfect opportunity, because, I mean, a Marvel and DC game alone would sell well. Like, them just deciding, NetherRealm's making a Marvel game, that prints money. It does.
Yes.
But Marvel versus DC, come on, man.
It would be... Yeah, either one of these will be hype and sell a lot on their own, but, like, that would be of events. Like, if that did happen, like, at E3, that would be, like, one of, if not the biggest headline of E3 would be, like... Because it's already... I know a lot of fighting game people don't really like them, but NetherRealm was the most popular fighting game studio there is.
Yeah.
They have the most popular game and all of that. So, like, yeah, with them having the Marvel and DC, like, license together or whatever, and the fact that they would probably do their own story involving the crossover, it's like, yeah, that would be it.
All right, Dari, I know you don't care for NetherRealm's stories as much as other people, but that's one of those... You got to make it stupid. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a like you're starting. You have a very good opportunity here. I'd be like, yeah please.
That'd be so good. I guess before we move on, also I'm going to go ahead and call this now. Like, say we're going to do it now. If it does announce a Marvel DC thing, a whole main topic is making a dream roster.
Oh yeah, we gotta make that thing.
If this does get announced. Also, what do you think this means for Marvel vs. Capcom? Because that is something that even if people kind of like NetherRealm, I think that's a fair thing where people are like, because that is the series people
especially
love.
if this is real. I think it's gone for the time being.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised if it comes back eventually, because everything comes back eventually. Nothing's ever dead in the video game industry. But I kind of doubt that this and that's being made simultaneously.
Yeah, and I sympathize with people that, I mean, I love Marvel vs. Capcom too. But I'm usually happy if I get anything good.
Yeah.
And I'm picky.
It's one of those, I prefer NetherRealm games. I prefer Mortal Kombat and everything. But I 100% understand why people don't like them, and like don't like that they're the most popular thing and kind of like influence everything else and they get all this shit or whatever. Because like, yeah, they are not as well-made fighting games as far as like a competitive angle. I'm just not I'm not into fighting games in that way. I'm a way more casual fan. And as a casual fan, I feel like NetherRealm supports their games in really cool ways. Yeah. Like fucking RoboCop and Terminator and shit or whatever. Like the wild, wacky shit. Like I love, like, it's just fun or whatever. And like, I know it's not as competitively sound or whatever. And like, I think people would prefer, obviously, like Arc System Works and like the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting style and stuff a lot more. I would get how people would be bummed from this.
Yeah, because it's definitely a a big change in play style that, yeah, I get why people would vastly prefer Marvel vs. Capcom over Netherrealm stuff.
Netherrealm stuff is definitely more mass appeal.
Yeah. Even generally, I probably prefer the close to Marvel vs. Capcom style more than Netherrealm style.
Yeah.
Love both, but yeah.
Yes.
But
I will say, for a Marvel versus DC thing, I feel like NetherRealm would be able to handle the magnitude of, like, it would, even if, like, the game probably would, like, be better at a technical level of, like, fighting game or whatever with Marvel vs. Capcom, and that's probably enough to, like, I get why people would want that. But I feel like, for me, again, being a very casual person into this, I would kind of want NetherRealm to have it just sort of spectacle, because, like, their games just, like, look very good, and, like, I feel like seeing the environments and everything or whatever, seeing like freaking Darkseid coming into Avengers Tower and, like, tearing it apart, some shit like that. Like, I feel like NetherRealm would be able to handle that stuff, and it would feel epic.
yeah, like the final trailer turned out the final characters or Darkseid v Thanos thing.
Yeah. Dope.
Yeah, that'd be quite insane. Oh yeah, another thing to add to this, why people thinking this might be legit is because of Ed Boon, who likes to toy with people and all that kind of stuff anyway. But he might have let off more than he meant to during an interview not too long ago.
Interesting. He is known for that.
But like, yeah, he kind of might have let us. It might have just been a fun little playing with people thing. But watching it's kind of like, okay, yeah, he might have let something out.
What was it?
It was something like asking about Marvel or whatever. It's like, yeah, I can't remember the exact thing where he was kind of made it sound like he may have said something he shouldn't have.
Okay, gotcha.
Which,
we'll see. Yeah, this is one of those kind of crazy rumor hype things that I somewhat believe more than I normally do. Maybe to my own peril, but we'll see.
We will see indeed. All right, Derek, time to talk about IO Interactive. Ready? This comes from Joe Scrabbles from IGN.
Yeah.
Hitman developer IO Interactive is reportedly working on a dragon-themed fantasy game, potentially as an Xbox exclusive. First reported by Windows Central, the rumor suggests that IO is partnering with Xbox Game Studios in a brand new fantasy-themed game that involves dragons in some capacity. Subsequently, Eurogamer said its sources have corroborated that information, adding that the game will be AAA in scope. Both reports mention that the game is in early development and years away from release. Scalebound. It lives.
It's here, guys. The only fantasy game to ever exist.
Dragons.
The only game with dragons.
It's true.
Exists. They invented dragons.
It's true. That would be funny.
It's weird. Like, I like fantasy stuff. It's maybe like my preferred. I don't know. It's up there. Like, I really like fantasy stuff or whatever. But it is kind of one of those things that, like, fantasy in general is such a saturated thing that I can't just hear that a studio is making a fantasy game and get excited. I have to kind of see the game. I'm sure you could see the game and be like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. But, like, just hearing IO making fantasy game, I'm like, okay.
Well, the kind of intriguing thing about this is obviously, yeah, IO going from Hitman, making them going that to James Bond makes sense, but then going that to a dragon-focused fantasy game is pretty wild. We've seen people make big jumps before. That's a pretty decently big jump.
Everyone making video games, everyone is somewhere down the line is a fantasy nerd in some way. So, like, literally any studio can turn around and make a fantasy game, and I'd be like, yeah, you're a nerd. We get it. Yeah, fair.
Well, I think also a thing about this that's also interesting is IO maybe making an Xbox Game Studios game.
Yeah. This thing's falling out.
That ain't good. So Microsoft trying to make them deals.
Yeah, which they are. That's been something that's been happening. So yeah, I mean, I guess they're gonna. Yeah, we are in a new era, a weird new era where some things are more open than they've ever been, but then also both companies are starting to shell out money. They make things that weren't previously exclusive. Be exclusive.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is one of those kind of different scenarios where, at least based off this information, where at least Microsoft is publishing the game. Instead, it's different from Final Fantasy 16 being PlayStation 5 exclusive. This is literally a tell me why situation.
Yeah, or Bloodborne.
Bloodborne. Yeah, Bloodborne. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Based on what we know, this kind of thing I'm okay with.
This also, I learn a lot. Like, there's a lot of studios that I, in my head, think of as like they're pretty small. They could probably only work on one game at a time, and then they're like, "Oh, here are the 4 games we're working on." I'm like, okay, what the fuck? Like, I didn't think that IO would be big enough to be like, "We're working on 007 and this Dragon RPG." I'm like, okay.
Well, they're also working on some other shit because I think it was last week or recently we mentioned that they opened up another studio.
Yeah.
So they have 3 studios right now working on some shit.
A lot of these studios are just bigger than I think they are.
Yeah, I think it's like Gauntlet has also kind of grown to where they're doing a lot more shit. Yeah. And I mean, they release games like crazy, it feels like nowadays.
You see, like, Insomniac is like, Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank. It's like that. They did some VR shit.
So I'm glad it's kind of like for IO. It's like, yeah, Hitman did well enough for them where they're like, yeah, we're opening up these studios, getting these giant deals with like James Bond and a AAA Microsoft exclusive.
No, yeah, it seems like since leaving Square Enix, they've kind of just been getting bigger and bigger and more renowned. So
like,
yeah, pretty good.
Well, that all makes me happy, generally speaking. But you know what doesn't make me happy? Fucking Activision.
Suits.
Yeah, which is all Activision seems to be nowadays. So pretty much this starts with Toys for Bob is announced they are now developing stuff for Call of Duty Warzone. And then other stuff comes out where it seems to be, and with recent news, that seems to be what everyone at Activision Activision side of Activision Blizzard is doing. It seems to be all the smaller studios are like, they release big, well-reviewed games that seem to have sold well with Crash and Tony Hawk, and you're like, good job, guys. Oh, by the way, you're now working on this shit.
Right, because Vicarious Visions was the other one that now is a Diablo. It was I'm working on Diablo 2. Yeah, I mean, you kind of see that it's the same thing everywhere with the big studios. Same thing we just saw from Sony, like kind of shuttering the like sequels to new IPs or whatever. It's like everyone is now a Naughty Dog support studio or something else of the sort. And it's like that's just always gonna happen when the structure of like obviously these companies, like the big high budget AAA things that sell a lot, make them the most money. So they're like, well, we have all these people on our payroll, and like their weird little like thing off to the side's not making. And it doesn't even have to be a weird little thing off to the side. It can be a pretty big thing, but it's not as big as that thing. So we're gonna put you on the bigger thing, because like that's the real cash cow. Yeah. Even like Days Gone, I wouldn't describe as like a little game, but it's like in comparison to the popularity of like Naughty Dog games, it's like over there. It's like and same thing here with Activision. It kind of seems like Activision is like Call of Duty, Diablo, Overwatch. It's like these are the things. Yeah. It's like you have to pick your lane. Pick a lane.
Yeah, the thing that sucks about this is...
sorry, wait. Sorry. Call of Duty, Diablo, World of Warcraft, Overwatch. Yeah. So sorry.
I was thinking that. I was like, I'm not going to call you out. Your point stands. Yeah. Pretty much Call of Duty, whatever shit Blizzard's working on. Yes. But the thing is, it just really sucks about this because they got... everyone shits on Activision Blizzard most of the time for very good reason. Yeah. And I think it's one of those times. And they actually had some wins in the last couple of years with the Crash, Spyro, and Tony Hawk revivals. And then those games come out again. They review fantastically. They sell pretty well. Yeah, they sell well too. And probably in comparison, not the most expensive games to make. And then immediately after it's done, they're like, okay, you guys are working on the big money makers now. You're moving up in the world. Good job, what I mean,
because like even if like those games, they don't have to fail to be shuttered. Like they did well compared to what they do or whatever. But then you just look at what Warzone will make a month. It's just all. That
doesn't sound like people.
Well, that completely dwarfs all the Crash stuff, even for how good it sold.
Also, I need to bring this up here in Crash related news. The Noid was added to the Crash mobile game. Sorry,
it's dead. So he's dead. It's dead anyway. I mean, like
I had to bring that up. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's the kiss of death. You just know at that point, if the Noid's coming around your game, it's time to bail, dude.
When's the last time anyone's seen the Noid in an official capacity?
We thought we killed him. He was in the grave. Sucker came back out.
They use the same machine they used to bring back Crash and Spyro.
No one turned off the machine.
And then the Noid's body somehow slipped. Yeah. It was like, oh god, what have we done? But yeah, this all sucks.
Yeah.
And now I can go back to not really caring about Activision.
All right, well, that was a nice
proper.
That was a nice sojourn. And
yeah. I guess I somewhat care about Blizzard with Overwatch, but that's the...
Yes, I do care about that, but...
Okay, well, Darby, you want to talk about something weird?
Mm-hmm.
You know that there's Super Mario Party?
Oh, yes, disappointment incarnate.
Yes, but it sells very well. We're, talking about games that just sell and sell and sell.
When maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah. I guess maybe it dropped slightly in the NPDs May 1 month, and that really motivated to add online to Super Mario Party.
Yeah, so they add
2.5 years.
I just like them updating it like they should. That would make sense. It's like, cool, you did that. Like, awesome. You did what you should have done with this game, and you actually made it a complete game after launch because whatever. That would make sense. And then, like, them doing nothing and just treating it like Nintendo always does or whatever. It just, like, the game's out there, it's done, bye, see you later, or whatever. It's like, it sucks, but it's like, that makes sense. This is the one scenario that just makes no goddamn sense in the world, is that you wait until, like, long after the game.
Even if you were going to do this really late, there's no way in hell it took you a year after COVID started.
When did they start this? Like, and what made them start this? Like, when did they start working? I'm so curious because it clearly was not the plan at launch.
No,
or this would be out. This would have been out a year and a half.
Like
ago,
again, I know game development's hard and we're dumbs, but there's no way this took 2.5 years.
No, so I just want to know when. When was is there an actual shift in their like logic, or is this just like? Was there a team that's like they've hoodwinked Nintendo into being like, oh yeah, we're hard at work, keep paying us, and they're like on a beach somewhere.
I'm very curious, what the potential uptick for Super Mario Party is like after this announcement, because this announcement sold this game's selling anyway, but it sold at some additional copies.
You would think there would be no uptick because it's 3 years later, but. It still sells enough.
Well, and we're still like a lot of people are still staying at home and stuff. So the idea and haven't seen their friends. So the idea of, hey guys, I heard it's kind of bare bones, but we could play Mario Party together.
Yeah, and it is, okay. You can have a few fun runs of it. I mean, it's not a bad game in that sense. And it's let's be clear, this is a good thing. We're not saying this is a bad thing.
It's just a baffling thing as far as the timing goes.
It makes no sense for it to come this late. It's
wild. And especially since they apparently decided to support it after a fact. It's like, where are dang more mini games and maps and shit?
Why were you not? If you were open to doing this, why just this and now? It's like, I don't know. Should some part of our brain think that more DLC is a possibility now, or is this just going to be one random thing 2.5 years after?
If I was a betting man, I'd say the latter.
I would say so too, but
I'm not.
It's all weird as fuck.
After not getting DLC for fucking Mario Kart after all this time and waiting this long for an actual update on Super Mario Party.
I mean, technically we did get DLC for Mario Kart.
You know what I mean. I'm not expecting anything more for this game.
Yeah. No. It was not
the thing that also sucks is we've kind of mentioned it maybe more often that I don't think we talked about on the podcast in quite a while, is because this game sold so well and everything. Well, that means it'll probably be longer till we get another Mario Party, so maybe it's better. But also because this did so well, the next Mario Party might be its bare bones.
Yeah, no incentive to do any better than that. I mean, and it's the Mario Kart problem that it still sells so much now that it's like, I mean, like we've all said, I could believe that like Mario Kart 9 is like almost done,
has been done.
I could believe that it hasn't been started, but I could also believe that it's been done for like a year and a half. And
or could have been released like okay, well,
we're gonna lose money if we drop this now, because like we're gonna lose out on so much.
Yeah, now
money.
they're just kind of fine tweaking to keep it kind of updated for when it finally comes out. I'm with you. I could believe it either way.
Yeah. I do like the jokes of people talking about like Mario Kart 9 will be the most feature complete biggest game. Like it's just gonna have so much content and they've just been working for years.
What I can't remember who it was. Might have been the Easy Allies or something probably, but I would love it if Mario Kart 9 is a Switch 2 launch title, which it probably will be, and
it has 50 maps.
Yeah, no, I was saying it is Mario Kart Ultimate. It has every track in the series.
I think that was Easy Allies. That would be great. That would be fantastic.
Like we kind of just compared Mario Kart 8 and Super Mario Party. Let's make it clear: Mario Kart 8 worth the money. Super Mario Party, no.
You want to know a hot take? If they did Mario Kart Ultimate, I think you would learn that the old tracks are bad and the new tracks are good. I think you'd learn the old tracks are very simple and basic, and the new tracks are good.
I wouldn't mind if that, like, I don't know how much they changed them, but if they do it kind of like Mario Kart 8 style, because half the tracks are old. Or at least from the original thing, I think they did a really good job with that.
They would reimagine them.
Yeah, the reimagining. I think they did really well with that.
Nah.
Even if it's just from a visual standpoint, like the game looks so good.
So Mario Party's not Mario Party and Mario Kart 2. The sequels are not coming out anytime soon.
Probably not.
And Mario Party will probably still be bad.
Yes.
But maybe you'll have online at launch. What if it doesn't?
What
if the next Mario Party comes out and it's just local again? It's like, oh, you can expect online in 2.5 years.
Yep.
I wouldn't be the most surprised.
Yep. But you know what is surprising, Derby? Kind of, sort of, not really. Whatever. PlayStation and Discord are getting in bed. You know?
Oh.
Papa Discord just cheated on Microsoft.
Strange, but Discord's just like advertising all over.
Microsoft and Discord were engaged.
Yeah.
And Discord's like, fuck you, I'm going to Papa Sony.
Damn.
And I'm just going to read a blog post from Jim Ryan about this. At PlayStation, we're constantly looking for new ways to enable players around the world to connect with one another, form new friendships and communities, share fun experiences and lasting memories. It's in this spirit that we're excited to announce a new partnership with Discord. The communication service popularized by gamers and used by more than 140 million people every month around the world. Together, our teams are already hard at work connecting Discord with your social and gaming experience on PlayStation Network. Our goal is to bring the Discord and PlayStation experience closer together on console and mobile starting early next year, allowing friends groups and communities to hang out, have fun, and communicate more easily while playing games together, and some other stuff. Yeah. So yeah.
Hi, Moses.
Hi.
Discord on PlayStation. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just for me, just playing games or whatever. I mean, like, we already have Discord servers and everything. It's generally just kind of easier or whatever, and you can just options. That's nice.
Yeah. Well, I guess what could be. I know people kind of do this with the PlayStation chat anyway. But like when I'm in there messing with. We're playing like Monster Hunter or something, and I'm in there. I can just maybe turn my PlayStation on, boop, do that instead of lugging my laptop in there.
Yeah. Oh, and I just thought about the fact that like whenever we're recording stuff and we have to deal with the whole like recording the PlayStation chat is kind of a nightmare with Elgato. But now I could just be in a Discord call with my laptop and just record it from there, and it would be like a lot easier. So. I mean, that doesn't affect the vast majority of people, but for me, that's nice.
But like other people.
Discord's just way easier to capture than those other things. So, like, but yeah, like whenever we've done any, like when we did that Fall Guys, whenever we do anything where I have to record PlayStation chat, it just always is a pain in the booty. So that is certainly better. It does kind of feel like, though, for the average person, it's not going to be that big of a deal because, like, I do think Discord is a better chat system than PlayStation's, but PlayStation already had a chat system that you could do or whatever. You know, it kind of like, I mean, on PC, it's more like, I mean, that's the one that people use or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, I think it'll definitely get used, but I think like a decent number of people will probably just keep using PlayStation thing. But I'm a little surprised that Sony's doing this just because they already have their own version of what Discord does, basically.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they do because Discord has a lot of things they don't. They have a lot better functionality with a lot of stuff. So, so overall, I think I'm glad it's there. It's cool.
Yep.
That is probably what I will use, for us whenever we chat.
Play the games.
And they're interested. I hope the user faces go with it.
Can I tell you about some Microsoft Derby? And some cool things. I won't read all this stuff, but on the Microsoft Windows Store, they have decided to pull an Epic and cut their percentage of what revenue they get from games from 30% to 12% starting August 1st. But at the moment, there are no plans to do this on console, just the PC store. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the, I don't know the intricacies of it. Holden DePardo would maybe be mad at me. But, from just me, casual man over here, pea-brain man, it seems like a lot of the, for as annoying as they are in a lot of ways, it seems like Epic's policies have actually, spurred big companies to take less money and, give give developers making games through the platforms more money, and it seems like that just seems like an objectively positive change that's happening.
I agree with that. And we'll go into it more next week as far as Epic and with their whole thing with the Epic Game Store, because there's more data coming on it, and it sounds like it's just not doing well for them. And I will try my best to study up on that and come with.
It definitely. Week. Right off the bat, the Epic Game Store from the very beginning, it was very clear that they were taking a loss to get a market share.
No, 100%. But it seems like it's not really working out. So after all this time,
it's been a while now, so it's probably those losses are probably piling up. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll try to get together and talk about that part next week. But we're talking about Microsoft here. Yeah. This is kind of a move by Microsoft to kind of do what Epic did to entice people to be on the Microsoft Store. Especially since I think something that Microsoft has over Epic to where I think this is the better chance of working. But, people may use the Microsoft Store more. Is Game Pass is a thing where you have to use their app and stuff to do it and that kind and their kind of service to do it for. Therefore, games are on there already. Right. They have to be on there for them to work for Game Pass.
Right.
So it'll be more enticing from users because we see from the Epic stuff that people go and get the free games, but barely anyone actually stays and buy games. This will be a stat I'll bring up right now. Apparently, people who grabbed a used game from Epic, only 7% of people actually bought something afterwards. That is pitiful.
I've still never bought anything on the Epic Store. I rarely remember to download the free game.
Yeah, I don't think I've done that even.
Very rarely do I remember.
It's been a while. But Microsoft has something that people actually want to use in Game Pass.
Right, yeah. They're actively using the service, not just... Yeah.
And that service is getting better and better. Also, it's just a fun, I guess, tangent for Game Pass. We talked about how PC is lesser. I actually saw stats for it. PC actually has about as many games as the console version and more exclusives.
Really?
Or in the very comparable. I think it's actually more. But console gets the bigger AAA exclusives.
Yeah, the ones that people want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see especially some smaller indies and stuff.
I think that's primarily it. And there are a lot of actual some cool stats that I might actually try to bring up next week for that too. They're just kind of fun to read. Like the average Metacritic thing, compare it to PlayStation Now and all that. Just the quality games on Game Pass.
The point still stands. A lot of the big games that people are excited about, oh shit, let's go in the Game Pass. Not PC.
Devil May Cry 5, Outriders, stuff like that. Rare Replay for some reason.
So that happens all the time. Outer Wilds for some stupid reason.
True.
Makes no sense.
Yep. But yeah, this would be cool and hopefully just a positive change and more.
Yeah. Again, there's probably more. I get to that, when Epic does this thing where when they take such a lower cut that they're at a loss to get market share, and it makes everyone else have to take a lesser cut, and that can kind of it's a race to the bottom in that way. But like these are all just like stores that are just like taking money from games to be put on there, which they need money to survive. But I'm not really gonna mourn the loss of these like big companies making slightly less money, and that money going to smaller game devs. Like that just seems like an objectively good thing to me, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying the Epic's motives are completely great because no corporation's motives are good. None of these corporations are your friends, but
Except Nintendo, of course.
none of these corporations are your friends, especially Nintendo.
I want to say I made the joke probably a dozen times.
Probably. But I think that's a positive side effect of this is that I think they have forced these companies that had no pressure, like Steam and the Microsoft Store and stuff. Like if you wanted your game to be seen by anyone, you have to be on Steam. So it's like they have no power. The developers have zero power in that relationship. Steam has all the power. They can charge whatever the hell they wanted or whatever. But I think this Epic has kind of come in here and shaken it up and forced people to lower those prices, which seems just good to me.
Yeah.
The whole lawsuit seems like it's kind of nothing. So it just seems like a publicity stunt. But like at least, you know, that part of it seems,
Yep. Well, Darby, we got some sad news. Sad news
Sad news for the gaming industry, I suppose. But we got our tails of our eyes. Who cares, dude?
Yep. Elden Ring. That game everyone hasn't seen,
Never heard of it.
but thinks it's going to be the best game ever.
But they literally have wiki articles, like fan wiki things or whatever, where they're guessing at what the lore will be. They're like making made up characters for Elden Ring. People are fucking crazy.
Yes.
When it comes to
Very
this
crazy. People are, since the moment was announced, have expected it to be at every single conference known to man.
Yeah. The next day they're like, wait, where's Elden Ring?
Exactly.
It's supposed to be out by now.
Yeah. But unfortunately, they may have to wait a little while. May not necessarily see it, but to play it. Because Katakara, the parent company of From Software, expect lower revenue this upcoming fiscal year. So starting now through March 2022. Partly because of, they say, game delays. And I'm going to, it's safe to assume if Elden Ring was coming out or planned to come out, they wouldn't be saying that.
Probably not.
So based on what it sounds like, Elden Ring was probably supposed to come out this fiscal year, but has now been internally delayed. Past at least until about this time next year.
Yeah, March 2022 would be the end of the fiscal year, wouldn't it?
Yep. So April 2022 would be the earliest.
Which honestly sounds about right to me. I mean, that still
I
doesn't
feel
sound
like
that
it's a
crazy.
case of, people were going into, because From Software generally has had a pretty quick announcement to release cycles.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair people were kind of thinking it may be sooner than this.
Yeah.
But I think we're at the point now where people just have to kind of be realistic, like, okay, yeah, this is taking a while. I think it was kind of pushed to be announced because even though
George R. R. Martin.
Yeah, well, with George, and because of From Software's publisher is different pretty much every single game they make. True. That how the release might go or release cycle might go is different based on the publisher. Bamco might be like, no, we're talking about this game. People were excited for your other shit like Sekiro and stuff. No, we're talking about it.
Yeah, to Bamco, they're like, this is an asset we have. We want to use this.
People will be continuously excited about anything we have to talk about because this.
Right, yeah.
The company and just looks good and all that kind of stuff. So that makes sense.
But it also planned to come out this fall, but actually come out next spring with COVID going on. Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Yes.
That doesn't sound.
With
great.
that said, Darby, what do you think the odds are we see it at E3? Even if it doesn't come out to next year.
If it is supposed to come out next spring, I think there's a fair shot.
Yeah.
There's a decent chance this is going to be the last E3. I mean, there's a good chance it's the last E3 for it. So it's like
I do think there's a pretty decent shot we see it at Microsoft's showcase.
I don't think it's for sure because I think Gamescom / Game Awards could be there too, or it could be they both.
Yeah. But I something to me kind of more thinking about it makes me feel increasing the chance of it being there is Microsoft has the marketing rights. We know all that. They're gonna push for that thing to be their showcase.
No, probably, I'm sure.
Especially if it is supposed to come out within the next year. It's like, yeah, that's soon enough to really talk about it. Probably to Microsoft and Bamco's standpoint. So it's like, yeah,
especially since like we haven't even really gotten the teasers yet.
Yeah,
we've gotten a title, a mummy-looking man, and George R. R. Martin. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So
plus, people, you had to be realistic. Once George's name was attached to this, you should have known it was taking a while.
Like get
strap in,
get cozy. I mean, it's yeah. Should have known.
Should have known.
But you know what we are getting this fall?
What are we getting this fall, Derby?
League of Legends, and I can call it an anime, right? Anime, sure.
Isn't it called like Arcana or some shit?
It is called Arcana, but I was just calling it an anime. I was saying like, does it pass the test? Does it get to be called an anime, or is it a animated series?
I think they're calling it an animated series.
It's probably an animated series, but you know, in our hearts of hearts, it's
you know what? They called Avatar an animated series, and we know that's a
and we know it's an anime. This is gonna be an anime Gauntlet regardless. I don't care.
We just changed the name for this season.
Yep, I'll add it. I'll go in MS Paint and add a D on the like little logo, the little like thing I did, anime, like or ED.
Yeah. Yeah. Animated.
I'm excited for this. There's very little to go off of here. We know that it's starring Jinx, and I know there's other people in the thing. I think Jinx is like the main character. I don't know who all else is in there. I'd probably need to go pause it and see all the different things. And I don't know everyone. Like, even though I've played this game a ton now, I still don't know all of them, and there's so much damn lore that I don't know anything about the lore of any of these characters. I actually have read some of the like short stories and they have for some characters, but I don't know anything about them. So I'm going in pretty blind. But just now the fact that like League of Legends is like my favorite game that I play right now, the game I play the most, so that's pretty exciting. And I think it's very little to go off of, but I thought the animation looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it looked really cool. More of that 3D style, but yeah, like it have a good budget. And as far as like my potential interest in it, like I'll give it a shot, especially if we do it for a Gauntlet. And you know, even having played the games, the actual lore is not taking place in the games, but there's enough lore there for them to go off of to build an interesting story.
100%, yeah.
And it's, you know, even if they don't go completely off the lore, it's like there's lore there, but it's enough of a blank canvas. They do have the fuck they want and just use these awesome character designs.
Right. It seems pretty like when I've been like reading stuff with that, because it's 10 years worth of stuff they've been writing to like get this or whatever. But like almost every character, it's like the beginnings of a story. But then that doesn't really get. It's like this is like their origin, and this is why they're going out in the world. And this is like what they want, and then it kind of just. It's like it all feels like it's set up for story properties. Like every single character you read, it feels like like the fact that they said they're doing an MMO. That makes sense. It fucking makes sense. I mean, because they have this entire world map with all these cities, all these tiny cities in between the bigger cities, all this like. They are ready. They've been preparing for this.
Well, for sure. Like just hearing you guys talk about League of Legends, and like I didn't need to hear you know as much as you guys talk about to know this. With all the characters and the lore and everything, you can branch off League of Legends
into anything.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
Like fighting game, yes. Anime, yes. MMO, yes. RPG, yes.
Yep.
All this shit,
and I think they will do all that because the thing is, there are like. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of active players. Well, and like it's a pretty like MOBAs seem like they should be a pretty not mass appeal niche thing, but it gets numbers like fucking crazy. So like yeah, it makes sense though.
Well, and depending how they go with this stuff, just because of how strong the character designs and everything, and potential the lore and all that kind of stuff is, like. The fighting game, for example, could find an audience with a decent chunk of non-league players.
Yes, just Maximilian, dude. I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. And like this show could, for the same reason, even if you're not interested in MOBA.
Yeah, I think it'll draw. I mean, you even saw like I don't think it's been like a huge success for them, but like Dota, you saw like they were saying like the player the player base like shot up for a few weeks there, and like a lot of people were playing that main character or whatever like in the game.
Yeah.
It's like League is bigger than Dota at this point in a lot of ways. I mean, I think I'm not wrong in saying that, but yeah. So I think this could be, and the fact that it's on Netflix is probably helps it. Really random people just like Netflix is a pretty big service for that. It's like I don't know, it'll be cool. I am super looking forward to it. And I guess that means it'll all be out at once. I didn't even think about that with Netflix.
Yes.
But
Yeah. That's a good thing, Darby. If it was an anime,
oh, wait,
it would technically come out
mind.
of Japan and then come out 6 months later.
Let's talk about it under the guise of the anime Gauntlet, but let's not actually have it on the anime Gauntlet. 'Cause I don't want to watch it 1 week at a time. I want to just watch the thing.
Anime Gauntlet special episode.
Special edition.
That's what they did with
special
FMK
yes.
for special.
We will do that. We will do that. We need to do that retroactively for Your Name, because we need to make you watch for Your Name, and I would gladly watch Your Name again. So let's do an anime Gauntlet special edition for Your Name.
All right.
As well. It's so good. I'm gonna go watch it right now. Let's go. Let's do it.
Alrighty, Derry. Time for some other news before we wrap up the podcast.
Other news.
All right. Terry Crews demands Mother 3.
I did see that. I was just not prepared for you to yell Terry Crews at me.
I felt like the perfect way to start this thing.
It's a man says he's waited too long.
I can be legit. Like the farther we get away from it, the more I'm like, unless it's some kind of weird legal thing. Yeah, why hasn't this been brought over? You brought up the original Fire Emblem already. Like, why not this game? Like,
Puzzling. It's weird.
It doesn't seem like it'd be that big of a thing. It's just a big win with your.
So like, I really don't know a ton about it. So like, is it like a story that is ongoing with all of these, and we got the first two, and they just stopped?
Based on my knowledge, there are characters that carry over, but it's just supposed to be a very good game that just has not been translated as well. So I think there is some story stuff that carries over based on my limited knowledge of the series as a whole.
It is weird for we got 1 and 2 relatively like as they were released.
I think Earthbound we did, maybe. I'm not sure when exactly we got that. We got that. I don't know. But for some reason they just not brought this game over. Though I will say they will have to change some stuff. There are some things in that game that
I've heard people allude to some.
Yeah, there's some. I'm trying to remember. Some transphobic, homophobic kind of things, and I think there was one character that looked very racist. So if they change that stuff, also go yes, do it. But yeah, they should do it.
What is the chance that Terry Crews actually cares, or did someone just like tell him to tweet that?
I don't. I like to believe he just really likes Earthbound, and he's a Ness main, and Ness or Lucas main in Smash.
I really hope so.
I really hope so. An outline for The Last of Us Part 3 has been written, but is not being made at this time.
I feel like such a hypocrite. Like, I don't know, hypocrite's not the right word. Like, I feel like my gut reaction is to be literally right back where we were with 1, where I was saying like, we don't need a 2. Like, one is the perfect ending. We like a 2 might just hurt it. We just really don't need it. And then 2 happened. I was like, I was wrong. I'm glad we did it. But like, I'm right back to saying we don't need a 3. 2 is the perfect ending. So it's like, yeah, I don't know what I want clearly, but that is my gut reaction. I don't know what your gut reaction is.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same place, but I'll probably have more of a passive thing. It's like, well, if they don't actually release it, great. But if they do release it, day 1.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm
day
there.
1, we're hearing about it. Let me know what's going on.
Well, Moses, what we need to do is skip to part 5, and we have to try to figure out what's happening.
Yeah,
it's like we just like missed a ton of shit.
No, we get part 5, and we have flashbacks to stuff in part 3 and 4.
Yes. I mean, that could actually be good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's effectively what that's what part 2 was basically. Yeah. Part 2 was basically part 3, and it showed flashbacks to part 2, basically. That's essentially what it was.
That sounds like a Kojima thing. You technically announce one game as 3 games, but they're flashbacks and flash forwards.
Yeah,
and all that shit.
will anyone ever have the balls to actually say this is 3? This is like whatever 3 instead of 2.
Yeah.
And say like that's part of the whole thing. Like, Kojima would have the balls to do that. I'm
He
kind
would do it.
of surprised one of these Metal Gears the one he didn't skip a number.
Yeah. Yeah, Kutara would do it.
Well, technically, dang Rafa.
Yeah, true. True. God, that game's so good. Greg Miller, aka gonna be a father. Let's go, Greg.
Hey yo.
Jackie Jean, or I think that's pronounced her name, and Alex Golden Boy Mendez will share hosting duties during E3.
Hey.
Yep, don't know what all that's gonna mean as far as hosting duties.
I have never had a host for E3 before.
Yeah, I guess because it's all online, they'll have in between shit. I don't know how that's gonna work,
but
we'll find out.
Good for them, obviously. Yeah. I don't
know.
Though,
as someone who likes to watch kind of funny reactions, I know he said he's gonna still be a part of those. This doesn't make me kind of worry about for not having Greg there as much.
For the reactions,
yeah,
they said he's not going to miss any of them.
Okay.
Not a single one. So
cool.
Apparently he's going to be pulling double duty with those. So he's just going to be on camera 24/7.
Good thing that's before the baby.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know Jackie, but obviously I know Golden Boy and Greg. This is very cool for both of them.
Jackie's also former IT.
It's not at all surprising with Golden Boy, because Golden Boy does fucking everything. He is everywhere at all times, always. I don't understand how, like, when does he sleep?
But sleep? It's the Golden Boy.
He must not sleep.
And finally, Google Stadia has added a search bar. Google Stadia is saved. Yes.
We did it.
Google, the ones who made the big search engine, finally added a search bar to
How
their
did you
service.
did you just have to scroll down to A to Z? Like, how did you?
Yes.
How
I
did
didn't
you
realize
find
this
this?
was a thing. And apparently it's a terrible search bar.
Just kill this thing. Just like, just give the technology to something else.
Give it to us.
I don't know. Give it to me. Yeah, give it to me and Jeff.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna do with it. It'll just like the server will just like sit on our table in here when we record the podcast.
No.
Like,
I got it. I got it. Give it to us. Just give it to us. And then we sell it to someone else.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I'll sell it to Moses.
Yeah. All right. That is everything.
All right, that's a podcast. That's a podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Well, make sure you tune in next week for next week's episode, where I don't even know what we're going to be talking about. Probably more Pokemon Snap and shit.
Maybe some more Oculus.
Tune in to Anime Gauntlet.
Yep.
This recording this Wednesday. Records every Wednesday and posts live for everyone on Thursday at youtube.com/nerdsatlarge. Some good anime going on there. Some very we lucked out these. We lucked out with this. Yeah, it's very good. And until next time,
Babaloo.
Babaloo, Baba B.